They're turning on the sirens right now in Arlington. So the Arlington sirens have been activated for 70 to 80 mile an hour winds. Now, we also have Richard Solomon and Josh Stephen. That's where they are. We can see that on camera right now, and I know up in the control room. So this is where Scoop is down. Where's Everman here on my map? I've lost Everman. We're in that general area there. But this is where Richard Solomon is, and I think they're going to get up on I-20 and head that direction. Jesse, where did you send them?
Yeah, they're going to stay right there because they're in a safe place. There's a quick trip there at the intersection of Everman and 35W. And so, in fact, we've got it right there. They're sitting there, and they're going to be facing west. Do we have their shot booth? I think we have it maybe. So they're going to be right there where that big burst of wind is coming. So I'm having them face west, and that's kind of where we're facing right now. So we're going to keep an eye on this shot. I can see police officers there at the QT as well, kind of facing the same direction, and I would imagine they're facing that way because that's where that big burst of wind is. In fact, so we have this shot. If we can go back to radar for just a moment. I know I'm switching you back and forth. We're going to go back to their shot in a second. So you see where they are, and you see that blue color there. That is intense wind.
This right here. I mean, that is, Jason, query that for me. That's got to be 80. Yeah, 89.
And that's headed their direction. So we're going to get a really good view of what to expect here. And we have them in a safe place, and they feel comfortable. So we're just going to watch this as it moves in.
And let's do this. Let's put a track on this this line. And Jason, let's take our velocity off. These are 90 mile an hour winds with this. Let's track this, the leading edge, not the core of it, but the leading edge, just so folks have a good heads up when this storm. I mean, because you look at the reflectivity, and it's not really that impressive. But again, this is just one of about 24 tools that Doppler radar has. This is the stuff that we look at behind the scenes all the time. So let's put a track. That's perfect, Jason. We'll put that track, and it's east at 50 to 55 miles an hour. So that's going to be at TCU. 11:38, just in a couple of minutes. Fort Worth Zoo, 11:39. Crowley, 11:42. Fort Worth itself, 11:42. I'm looking at my Fort Worth camera here. Let's go to that Fort Worth camera real fast. Can you put that up for me, Masaki? Can we put that up? I'm seeing a lot of lightning on that Fort Worth camera. Jason, keep this right here. Now this is looking off to the east, so there's a lot of thunder, a lot of lightning in Dallas. But there's some 60 mile an hour winds in Dallas. But the most intense, I mean, you just saw it, Doppler radar is indicating 89 mile an hour winds with that storm. So the storm's on the back side of this camera here. Let's go back over to the radar for me. Fort Worth arrival time's 11:42. Forest Hill, 11:44. Garden Acres, 11:45. Kennedale, 11:47. Handley at 11:49, and Rendon at 11:50. So Richard's here, I would think. Crowley's about the time, 11:42, so in less than 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, that leading edge is going to be there. Now, Jason, do this. Let's put a track from the core of the storm right here. Let's take this track off, and you know what? Let me zoom in real fast, if you will. Zoom into that velocity data. Let me show folks, if you live in this location right now, I do want you to know, Arlington sounded this out. Zoom in real tight. I want to see some streets here in Benbrook. I think a lot of folks are familiar with, let's go off to the northwest just a little bit. There's an area up here that I think a lot of folks, there's a sporting clays course here, Team Ranch. There's a sporting clays course here that a lot of folks are familiar with. It's this area right here. Here's I-20 to the north, so Team Ranch is right here. And that's where we have some really, really strong winds at this moment. I mean, we're looking at winds of, 80, 90 miles an hour in this area. There's a big neighborhood there, 79 miles an hour. There's a big neighborhood over here just on the other side of Aledo Road. Let's shift the map a little bit, Jason, so we can show this neighborhood over here on this other side of Aledo Road. A friend of mine, John Durham, lives over in this neighborhood here. And so I haven't had any text from John tonight, but I do know that he's in this area here right on the west side of 377. And really, I'll hear from him tomorrow morning, some really strong winds in this location, this neighborhood that runs right along and then on the east side of Aledo Road. So let's zoom that back out. Let me see where the most intense storm, we lost our light blue color. We've switched over to the bright red, which really tells the same story. Boy, it really sticks out there. So let's zoom that out, because I want to show folks in Dallas County what's happening there. And we still have some, let's go over into Dallas County right now. Richard, okay, we're gonna stay in Tarrant. Let me go to Richard. Let's put Richard back on the map so folks can see just exactly where he is. He's in Everman right now, right at a quick trip there off of 35W. So Richard, give me an update. We'll get you back here on the radar, and we'll go back to your camera.
Well, yeah, Pete, these are some of the strongest winds we've seen all night. Again, we're in Everman off of 35W, and just look at this wind out here. I mean, this is the wind that you were talking about all evening long. It's pushing this way. You can see how much rain is moving through this area. Now, under the awning that we're at, I've seen a lot of vehicles just pull over just to get out of this mess. There were also several first responders, Fort Worth police officers. There are some MedStar units just here waiting to deploy if they need to. But again, we're in Everman, so I know Scoop is somewhere around this area, but you can just hear and just see this wind. See, look at the water just rushing off the top of this building right here, off the top of this awning right here. I mean, this storm is really moving through this area. Again, these are some of the strongest winds we've seen all night out here, Pete. We're gonna stay in this area and work this area and make sure there's no damage as this storm continues to move through here. But again, we're in Everman. This is just off of I-35W, and we'll give you another update when we can.
Okay, Richard, we appreciate that update. As we take a look at, man, look at that there in Benbrook. That's Defender Outdoors. That's at Sporting Clay's course over here just in Benbrook, right there at Team Ranch, southwest of downtown Fort Worth. So really strong winds. Very populated area right now. Big neighborhood over here just on the east side of that. That's where Richard is with our photographer Josh Stephen. Let's go back. It's 11:40 right now. Let's go back to Scoop. Scoop, I know you're in that area over there as well. Let me see what's happening where you are. Do we still have Scoop Jefferson right now? Okay. There's Scoop shot. Rain has picked up. I don't see much in the way of wind there. That's in Everman right now. Scoop, can you talk, buddy? You might not be able to hear me, and that's okay. Just some. We'll give him just a second to see if he can. I know we have the camera up. Okay. Just some in that location where Scoop is. I don't know if he's north or south of Richard and Josh there, and you can see where they're located, Unit 15. But Scoop is somewhere in that general area. But the strongest winds have not reached them just yet. Let's put another track on this, and while we do that, we'll put the leave this on. I like the storm velocity because that shows the most intense part of the storm. But Jesse, Cassie, you guys have any update for me? Anything that you're seeing behind the scenes that you want to share?
Yeah, actually, I've been watching that velocity, and it's still, severe wind. We're talking wind gusts to 70 miles an hour, and we were looking at 80, and the latest scan has it coming down to 70 miles an hour, which is obviously still severe, but I'm not currently seeing that 80 mile an hour plus wind. And I'm wondering if I go back to reflectivity, looking at Jason's computer here now. When we go to reflectivity, you can see that storm coming in from the west, and then if we zoom out, we're watching those storms coming into the Metroplex, and I'm wondering how much that is actually playing a role in maybe trying to weaken these storms as they get a little bit closer into the Metroplex. That could actually be the saving grace for the Metroplex of not seeing those more destructive winds. So hopefully it kind of looked like it was trying to weaken a little bit. I still would not be out in this by any means, but the further east that it goes, it might try to weaken now that we've already had this strong complex of storms move through the Metroplex.
Okay. Yeah, and Cassie, you bring up a great point there, that maybe it's weakening a little bit because of the interaction with the other storms, but it's also creating a flooding issue. So Dallas and Tarrant County right now are under flash flood warnings. That goes until 3 o'clock in the morning. We're looking at a couple of inches of rain in a short period of time. This is back in Everman. That's where Richard Solomon, that's where he is. So you can see the wind has picked up a little bit. The core of the storm is still not at his location, but very heavy rain.